All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, whenever you're watching this. Welcome to ECFIT Live. My name's Doctor Pat Helma. I'm a chiropractor certified in sports injuries. I have over 30 years of clinical experience treating patients from peewees to professionals in just about every sport that you can imagine. I met Erin through foundation training, and I wanted to work with her because she has a very unique perspective in training athletes, especially training athletes for longevity as well as performance. I sought her out because I thought it was, she's a very special person. So if you come along for this ride, if you're part of the premium program, you know about foundation training quite a bit. If you're new to this program, I'm going to introduce you to a basic principle that we teach in foundation training called decompression breathing. And it's a great principle that helps with a lot of different things. Breath is your secret weapon. And why is it your secret weapon? If you're new to ECFIT, when's the last time that you trained your breath? Probably never. If you've been with us for a while, you train your breath in every single exercise that we do, because we work with decompression breathing, we work with posture with every single exercise, so that it's important. And if you come along for us for this ride, you're going to learn how to do this. Do you think breathing's very important? It is. You pay attention to your diet, right? You watch what you eat. You pay attention to calorie intake and expenditure and things like that. You also pay attention to your hydration, don't you? That's very important, correct? Well, think about it like this. You can go 2 to 3 months without food. You can go 3 days without water. But you can only go 3 minutes without air. Do you think breathing's important? Heck yeah, it is. So how many times do you breathe in a race if you're an athlete and if you're participating? There's so many different types of breathing, and all of them are beneficial for certain things. If you wanted to dive deeper into different breathing techniques, there's a book, James Nestor, called Breath. You can look at that. There's a lot of different breathing techniques, from Buteyko breathing to Wim Hof breathing or Timo. A lot of different techniques. Some are designed to stimulate the body and stimulate the sympathetic nervous system. Some are designed to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system and calm the body down. So you can use breath for a lot of different things. And it's very, very important. So if you want a deeper dive into that, you can. But now it's time to unleash this secret weapon of decompression breathing. So let's get cracking. So a little bit about decompression breathing. It is not the way that we want you to breathe 24 hours a day. It is a breathing technique that we use to strengthen the muscles of respiration, to provide better posture and more balance in our body. The muscles of respiration, especially the diaphragm, is actually a postural muscle. It's very strong, and it's a very big muscle. It attaches to your ribs, and it goes around the back, and it runs over the hip flexors, and it goes down and it attaches to the lumbar spine. So that muscle, by working that muscle and having that expand, it's very, very helpful in maintaining proper posture. Now, the first thing we do with decompression breathing is establish an anchor. This is very important. Decompression breathing is a full body exercise. It's not just breathing. We're not just working the lungs. We're working everything from the muscles in the feet all the way to the top of the head. So we start with an anchor. And our anchor, we're going to go feet shoulder width apart with the outside edges of the feet parallel. What that does is it gives a slight internal rotation of both legs. And that's your anchor. The joint, the ball joint of the big toe, the ball joint of the little toe, and the heel are pushing down into the ground. As those 3 points push down into the ground, the toes will grab the ground just a little bit, and let's activate those muscles in the arches of the feet. Pull up just a little. Still keep those 3 points of contact pushing down and transfer that weight back onto the heels. As that weight transfers back onto the heels, we unlock our knees. Everything we do in foundation training, the joints are always unlocked. The reason why this is when the joints are unlocked, the pressure and the support comes from the muscles that surround the joint. When the joints are locked, the pressure's all on that joint, and those muscles aren't very supportive. The stronger the muscles are that surround the joint, the less pressure is placed on the joint. So unlock those knees, transfer that weight back onto the heels. Take those legs and squeeze those legs in towards one another like you're trying to scrunch the mat between those legs. And as you do that, you will feel those muscles on the inside of the thighs, your adductors. Those muscles help to stabilize the hips and the pelvis, because this anchor allows us to breathe away from it. So by establishing this anchor and making the legs very, very strong and the pelvis very strong, and it pulls that pelvis underneath our body, then we can decompress and breathe away from that. Decompression breathing, thumbs start with bottom of the rib cage, pinkies don't go down to the pelvis. These are your measuring sticks. Our focus is abdominal lengthening. When you breathe, I want you to lift those ribs up off the pelvis. Not only just in the front, but on the sides and also in the back. So we talk about 360-degree expansion of that rib cage in foundation training. We're going to play with this a lot, and you're going to get very tired and very fatigued as you work on this breathing technique. And that's totally fine. We're building strength in those muscles of respiration. These are muscles, if you're not with the ECFIT program and haven't been doing this for a while, these are muscles that you're not used to working. And you're going to feel quite a bit of fatigue and quite a bit of tiredness. So let's play just a little bit. Let's work with some decompression breathing. We're going to start with the toes, and I'm going to work all the way up, and I'm going to walk you through it. And we're going to hold into that position. And as we hold into that position, I'm going to explain a little bit more, and you're just going to keep holding up into that position. And let's see how long we can hold this and how these muscles fatigue, and find out which muscles fatigue first. So, outside edges of the feet parallel, 3 points of contact pushing down into the ground, arches pulling up just a little bit, weights transferred onto those heels, and those knees are unlocked. Little squeeze with those knees in towards one another, pulling all the way up into that groin. Feel those adductor muscles work. The stronger these muscles will get on the inside, the less pressure is placed on those iliotibial bands that we foam roll oh so much. Little squeeze in. Let's go measuring sticks, thumbs bottom of the rib cage, pinkies down by the pelvis. Bring those elbows out wide, lift the chin up. Breathe that chest up right here. Lengthen through the back of the neck. As you do that, we're lengthening those sternocleidomastoid muscles, SCM muscles right here. Those muscles attach down to the sternum here. And as we breathe and lengthen that neck, it's going to pull that chest up. When you exhale, belly sucks in to keep this abdomen long. Now, if you're new to us here, you probably use those muscles in your shoulders to help pull up and get a little lengthening. So take those shoulders and now pull those shoulders down away from the ears. If you've been with us for a while, I hope I taught you enough that you haven't done that. Every breath, more expansion in that rib cage. Every breath out, hold on to that expansion. This is tough. This is a new system and a new technique if you're not used to doing this. Very rarely do we do things and try and get big and hold on to that bigness. That's not even a word. But hold on to that expansion. That's very important. Most of the exercises we do are very compressive exercises. We get small. The bigger we are, The bigger the base we have, the more support. I hope you're continuing to breathe right here. Look for that 360-degree expansion. We're trying to make a very big base of that pelvis so that we can breathe away from that. We're trying to make a very big base of the shoulders and of the chest and of the upper back to make a big base for that neck and for that head to support. Couple more breaths right here. Push those 3 points of contact down into the ground. Pull up with those arches. Squeeze those legs in towards one another. Feel how stable that pelvis is. And then breathe away from that. Feel those ribs lift off the pelvis. Bring those hands out into long wing. And as those hands come out into long wing, I still want you to keep this length and this extension and the 360-degree expansion into that rib cage. Take those shoulders and pull those shoulders down away from the ears. Those shoulder blades are pulling down towards the back. And as you pull those shoulders down, see if you can breathe those shoulder blades out wide. In foundation training, with every single exercise we do, we're always looking for space, trying to find more and more and more space. So in this position, I'm trying to breathe my shoulder blades towards the back wall, trying to take those shoulder blades and breathe them apart, and take those shoulders and breathe them apart, trying to get this abdomen as long as I can, and this upper rib cage as big and as expansive as I can. Now this is quite different than breathing that you'll do in yoga, like they call belly breathing or abdominal breathing. A lot of times they teach belly breathing for you to put a hand on your belly and a hand on your chest and to breathe and keep that chest still and have the belly move out. As you do this decompression breathing, you will realize how important these abdominal muscles are in the supportive posture and also the supportive breath. So when we relax those muscles and breathe that belly out, we lose that support. So it's very, very important. If you do choose to do belly breathing, understand that it's just a technique that you can use. And instead of breathing the belly out from here, take your hands and put them on the lower abdominal muscles right here. And when you breathe, see if you can breathe those lower abdominal muscles out and keep that chest still. That's more effective, and that's more intra-abdominal breathing, where we're kind of working with those abdominal muscles to still maintain some support as we push from those lower abdominal muscles out. So just another little technique that you can do when you're laying down or when you're standing. Just focus on that lower. Relax those arms and relax those legs. Just shake it out for a second. And we're going to go back into that and play with a little bit more of that decompression breathing. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit and we're going to look for expansion. I'm going to rotate around in different positions so you can see where that expansion is coming from and see how we hold on to it. So this time, let's bring the feet together. Let's go big toe joint touching. Heels spread apart a little bit so that gives the outside edges of the feet parallel. 3 points of contact pushing down, ball joint of the big toe, ball joint of little toe and heel. Weights transferred onto those heels just a little bit as those knees unlock. Now once those knees unlock, you can feel those hips wanting to kind of scroll in just a little bit. Feel those muscles all the way up, right up into the groin right here. Let's see if we can squeeze those thighs in towards one another just a little bit. I call it a scrolling of the hips. Imagine those hips just scrolling in towards midline. As those thighs squeeze together, feel how those hips pull back just a little bit. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see that movement. Up nice and tall right here. 3 points of contact pushing down. Weight transfer onto those heels just a little bit. Knees unlocked. And then as those hips scroll in, my butt pulls back just a little bit. Got a little pop in that sacroiliac joint back here. That was a freebie for me. That felt really good. But that's how strong those adductor muscles are. They can actually pull those sacroiliac joints apart. So from here, thumbs, bottom of the rib cage, pinkies down by the pelvis, elbows out wide, chin up, breathe that chest up. Lengthen through the back of the neck. On the exhale, belly sucks in to keep this abdomen long. That sucking into the belly button, very, very important to hold that length. Every breath in, a little bit more expansion, a little bit more height. Every breath out, trying to hold on to that height. By now, there's not a lot of space left for you to try and hold on to. So it's just trying to breathe and stay in this position. Looking for that expansion into the chest, underneath the arms, and also into the back of that rib cage. Imagine my hands on your elbows right here. And as you breathe, give me a little bit of pressure against my hands on your elbows. So breathe and pull those elbows away from one another. Feel those muscles in the shoulders work. And continue to breathe. Feel that expansion. If you feel a little pinch in your lower back, let's suck this belly in just a little bit more. And breathe that back of the rib cage a little taller. Always looking for space, not compression. If you feel a pinching or compression, see if you can breathe away from that. This abdominal muscle that we're working right here, transverse abdominis. Transverse abdominis, very important muscle. It actually starts at the spine in the back and runs all the way around to the belly button. So there's your core muscle. As this belly sucks in, this upper rib cage expands and grows. Give me 2 more breaths right here. Keep that neck long. If you're breathing like this, you should feel a little bit of fatigue in those muscles right underneath the ribs right here. The muscles that we're working are serratus posterior inferior muscles. You don't have to remember the names of those muscles, but those muscles attach to the ribs in the back. And as those muscles pull down, they pull the sternum up. So in this position, when I work those serratus posterior inferior muscles, that chest comes up into this position and comes back down. As those muscles pull, it comes up and those muscles relax. We're looking for that expansion as we breathe, and then using those arms to get out wide. Give me 1 more breath here. And just relax those arms. And relax those legs. Shake it out just a little bit. Go ahead and bend down. Loosen up those muscles. If you're new to this, when you start with decompression breathing, you tend to arch that spine and bend backwards. So if you feel a little pinch in your lower back, you got to work on this abdominal lengthening a little bit more. This is all about frequency. The more you practice this, the better you get at it. The more it becomes second nature. The more this posture becomes comfortable as opposed to this posture. When you're in this position, there's much more pressure placed on the muscles in the neck, in the shoulders, in the upper back. When you're able to maintain this position, it's much more balanced, and the muscles in the front of the neck and back of the neck are equally supportive. The muscles in the chest and in the shoulders are equally supportive. The shoulders, very, very important. As we swim, as we run, the movement of those shoulders is very important, and it's something we really need to focus on. When that chest comes down and that posture becomes altered, those shoulders become affected too. You can see how my shoulder moved down and moved forward in this position. As I breathe and get up into proper posture, that shoulder comes back into a neutral position. and it's more balanced. A lot of times shoulder impingement, other injuries can be caused by that. So just by fixing that alignment and the biomechanics by breathing can help relieve some of those problems with shoulders as well. So let's practice that decompression breathing again. This is very important. Practice this with every single exercise you do. If you're going to do squats, if you're going to do deadlifts, things like that, you can set up with decompression breathing and then focus on it. So for example, if I'm going to do a deadlift from the floor, I'm going to set up into this position. Let's go feet maybe about mat width apart. Unlock those knees, 3 points of contact pushing down. Let's go measuring sticks, elbows out, chin up, breathe that chest up. Lengthen through the neck. So that spine's nice and long now. The other thing that we focus on with foundation training is hinging at the hips. And it's a backward hinge as those hips pull backwards. So we want to keep this abdomen long. So keep your measuring sticks right here and pull those hips back. You'll feel if those ribs are collapsing down on top of that pelvis because all of a sudden those measuring sticks get long. And we're just pulling those hips back as we go into a hinge. Still practice that decompression breathing, but now we've added movement to this. So your center of gravity is going to change. And those muscles are going to work harder. You're going to feel those muscles in the back even lower than below those shoulder blades now as we continue these hinges. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see where that butt's going on this hinge. Imagine my hand on your back belt loop, and I'm pulling that back belt loop towards the wall. You can also play with this by putting your butt towards the wall and then focus stepping away from the wall just a little bit and then focus on pulling that butt backwards as you go into that hinge, keeping this length long. Let's go all the way up and relax, shake it out. Foundation training is an integral part. When I got introduced to foundation training in 2013 as a chiropractor and a clinician, this is what I've been looking for. We've been trying to find something that I could give my patients that they could do on their own and keep themselves well. To me, that's healthcare. If I keep them out of my office, I did a great job. If I have to see somebody a lot, I'm not doing a very good job. So this is what we try and do. We try and give you things that you can do on your own. Me doing exercises for you doesn't make you healthier. But if I can teach you those exercises and show you how to do them properly, it gives you great tools that you can use to stay healthier. Practice this decompression breathing. We're going to play with this again. Let's go, one more time. Feet shoulder width apart, outside edges of the feet parallel. Let's set this anchor. Ball joint of the big toe, ball joint of the little toe and heel, push them down. Transfer that weight back onto the heels, unlock those knees. Give me measuring sticks, thumbs, bottom of the rib cage, pinkies down by the pelvis, bring those elbows out wide, lift that chin up, breathe that chest up. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Look for that 360-degree expansion in the rib cage. Break it down first. Let's start here on the chest. Big breath, getting that chest up and expansive. Second breath, let's go armpits right under here. Get those lats involved. Breathe those elbows out wide. Breathe those shoulders out wide. Pull those lats. Feel those muscles underneath the arms as that rib cage gets a little wider. Next breath, shoulder blades. Breathe them out and back towards that back wall. Your lungs are in the posterior part of that rib cage. So when we breathe more towards the back than we do in the front. That's where our lungs are. Now, tie all that together. Find that 360-degree expansion, chest expansion. expansion underneath the arms, expansion into the back of the rib cage. Feel how difficult it is to hold on to this. And relax those arms, relax those legs, relax that chest. Hopefully you didn't drop down too much when you relaxed. You still kept that chest up a little bit, still kept that rib cage fairly expansive. The goal is for you to be able to use these muscles to get up into this position and to be able to maintain this position throughout the day without having to breathe and work at it. It took me probably about 3 months before I was able to maintain this rib cage expansion and hold this position without taking a deep breath in or without having to work at it. So practice with it. I like to link it to when you brush your teeth in the morning because you're standing in front of the mirror and you can look at that expansion. When we say lengthen the back of the neck as you pull that chin back, you can hear me talking, and if you talk and you can't, if your voice sounds like this, that's starting to get compressed up here, then it's too compressive. You're pulling back too much. That chin's coming down. We want that head to pull straight back so you're still able to talk. We got to keep that neck long and pull those shoulders down away from those ears. So that's decompression breathing, and that's your secret tool. Play with this. Practice this. We're always around to help you. If you have any questions on this, please feel free to reach out, whether on the Facebook page or reach out to Aaron, and we can try and help you with decompression breathing. The more you do this, the better it's going to be. The more you can use this in your race to stay in good posture and good position. The more balanced you are, the less muscles are strained and the less chance of injury. So we're trying to make you as resilient as possible. And breath is one of the most important parts. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for being with us, and we love having you.